Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Honey Podcast. This is Jodie again, and we've also got
Danny.
and today we thought we would talk about how 2020 has impacted like our plans to like go to shows and shows we were going to go to that we were really looking forward to, and shows that we're looking forward to hopefully seeing when the world restores some sort of normality. So like hopefully in 2021 we'll be able to go out there more. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So do you want to start it off today, Danny, with like shows and artists you are really looking forward to seeing?
Sure. So I know that we talked a little bit about festivals that we wanted to see, and I know a big one for me, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners, and I know a lot of people at the Honey Pop. Sad Summer Fest was like a really exciting one for us because we don't have Warped Tour anymore.
Yeah.
That was like our new like mini Warped Tour, and there was like a lot of big names on that, and I was really excited for that because it was really cool last year. And the lineup was really awesome. I know that they have actually rescheduled it for next year, which is
Oh.
exciting. But like now I have to wait till next summer, which kind of sucks.
I relate on a level because I see the lineups you guys have had in the past for Warped and Sad Summerfest, and I'm so sad being in the UK that I've never got to go to them. But like for me, I was really sad when I knew that Slam Dunk was going to be cancelled, because that's like the UK's like pop punker event
Yeah,
concert, and Reading I was really sad about, because I intended to go to both of those.
yeah,
I want Glastonbury was kind of tragic when it got cancelled as well, but I wasn't going this year anyway. But yeah, like the fact that at Reading Festival, I think on the Friday they have the headliner as All Time Low.
yeah.
And you had Black Bear performing on one stage on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday on a different stage I had Waterpark. So I was like, in the space of 3 days I would have got to see three of my favourite artists, and then
Right.
that got cancelled. And I'd never been to Reading before, so it was going to be my first time, so that really sucks.
Yeah. See, I think that you guys have such a better collection of festivals. Well, like I guess in my area, I don't catch a lot of really good festivals. But yeah, like Reading, that was a great festival that got canceled. Um, and it's just like, it really sucks because festivals, like you said, are one of those things where you get to see so many of your like favorites and like, I'm just
Yeah.
bummed about that. Um,
Yeah.
I know another one for me that I was upset about is as I've said time and time again, I'm a huge pop punk fan. And when the like refund came into my bank account, I was so like gutted over it.
Oh,
Is the Wonder Years.
oh
I
wow.
talk
Yeah.
I talk about them a lot. And they're literally one of my favorite bands. And when I saw that refund, I was like, oh my gosh, because they are, I think we mentioned like this before, one of those bands that haven't made any noise and like haven't put out any new music through this whole thing. So
Mm.
like I was really looking forward to that, and now I just have to sit here and wait until they give me something new.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of relate to that because throughout everything that's going on, like water parks haven't released anything new, but
Right.
they did only release Fandom back in October. Um, but seeing them at Reading, it would have been interesting to see like if they were going to have a new song drop or anything as well, you know, because it
Right.
like so much promotion for other plans must have been stopped for so many artists.
Mhm.
I mean, if you also look at the fact that um, a band I was going to see this year quite a few times, it was 5 Seconds of Summer, who we've mentioned
Yes.
before, and I was going to their acoustic set. Um, that has been cancelled, and I was going to a few of their No Shame tour shows,
Yeah.
and obviously they had a album rollout in May, I think,
Mhm.
and you know, and I think they had to do their Wildflower video from home, but they had plans to record it, and that had to stop. So
Right.
like, God knows what else we would have been getting from them this year. But we also don't know what all of these artists are doing behind the scenes, with the hope that 2021 is going to be better for us.
Right.
But yeah, I was going to see them. I was going to see Little Mix, which are really popular over here.
Yes.
Um, I was going to be going to see BTS, possibly with someone who works at the Honey Pub as well. And I've never really, I've only really got into K-pop this year.
Yeah.
So like it would have been a really good new experience, because from what I've seen, K-pop is like a completely different, but on like another, on a cool scale, like environment kind of show to go to. So I really hope I get to experience that next year as well.
Yeah, for sure. I
So
know the another big one that is like out of my realm of like normal things that I would go see that I had plans to do was Alanis Morissette, because it was Jagged Little Pill's 10-year, and it was like a huge plan. We had a bunch of people going, all that good stuff, and of course, naturally, it got canceled as well.
that would have been so amazing.
I know, right?
Alanis Morissette was literally, I remember, I can't remember, I must have been pretty young, but I asked for Alanis Morissette's album for Christmas.
Yeah.
And my parents never really listened to her music or anything. And it was that long ago that it was on cassette that I got it. And
That
that,
is
and
amazing.
wherever my parents took me, Jagged Little Pill had to be on in the car. I was obsessed, and it's one of probably the first albums that I learn every single word to.
Yeah.
And it is just an iconic album. I would love
Iconic.
to see that live. So I can't imagine how you feel right now.
Yeah, that was my biggest loss, I think, of the year with
Oh,
the concert.
yeah. And like, yeah, she's just incredible. Wow. So I feel your pain on that one, totally. Ooh.
That album, we could do a whole show about that album.
Yeah, really
Honestly,
could. We
so
might
good.
do in the future. If there's any
Yeah.
Alanis Morissette fans, they need to let us know. But yeah, definitely. But what
Well,
I have, oh, sorry. You
no,
carry
go
on.
ahead.
Carry on. It's cool.
How about bands that you or artists that you really wanted to see that have put out new music that you haven't had plans to see, but you know they've put through new music out through quarantine, and now you're like really excited to see?
Right. Well, uh, obviously from last episode, I'm going to say Machine Gun Kelly.
He's
Uh,
on my list too.
I mean, I've never seen, obviously, never like seen him live before either.
Yeah.
So like, that's something I was planning to get tickets for if he released any tour dates. But I'm really hoping with him releasing the album later as well in September, that like, if the world has a little bit more normal next year, that I can get tickets to see him. I really want to go back and see Youngblood again, because when I saw him at Brixton Academy, that was incredible. But he's obviously released so much new music during quarantine as well. So yeah, that would be awesome. I'd love to see Halsey again. I've only seen her once. And even though she hasn't released any any music during quarantine, she's teasing like the return of Badlands at the moment. So like we're all sat on the edge of our seats. So she's obviously been planning this as well.
Yeah.
So that would be totally cool. And I'd love to see Taylor Swift with Folklore live.
That was
I'm
a
a
big album.
massive Taylor Swift fan, and I was gutted that I didn't get to see the Reputation tour. So if she drops tour dates next year,
That's going to
top
be a
of the
big one
list.
for you.
Yeah.
I know for myself, I definitely, again, want to see MGK because we're just totally obsessed with him.
Yeah. I think we made that. I don't think we made that clear last time
made
at
that
all.
pretty evident. I just think that I'm really excited, especially with his new music, but I won't spend too much time on him this time. I know that Knuckle Puck is a big one for me. They're putting out a new album September 18th, I believe, and their live shows are incredible. So they're definitely someone I want to catch again, and I hope that they are
Definitely a
able
band I
to
really
tour.
need to listen to more, because, like I
Yeah.
said last time, I know a lot of the big older names in pop punk, but I need to start. I really do need to like refresh my playlists with like artists like them, like Neck Deep and stuff. I really need to like
The
bump
cool
them up
thing
and listen to them
about
more.
them is that they're very like they've got that kind of old school sound. So like
Oh,
that's why I dig them so much. Like they're awesome. And then definitely Movements, which they just dropped a couple singles. And their album, I don't know exactly the date that it's coming out. Maybe I have them switched, but regardless, they're coming out this year. And they would be a great one to see. I missed them last time they came around, so I want to see them. And then, of course, some new artists that I want to see that I've gotten to know from you and from everybody at the
I
Honey.
think I know what you're going to say as well.
Who?
Point North.
Yep.
Point
They're
North.
number one on my list. For sure. I put down Youngblood because everything that you have taught me about him and his live show, I'm really intrigued about. So he was one of them for sure. And then, of course, like you said, Point North, they just released their album and I think it's incredible.
It's so good.
Yeah, and like they just have that different sound because they pull in all those different genres, like, and they, I don't know, it's like hip hop and pop punk and rock and pop, and it just, I would love to see what their live show looks like because I've never seen
Exactly, yeah. It'd be incredible to see who they end up going on the road with.
it.
Like, for me, I feel like, dare I say it, I feel like a water parks with them supporting,
I could see
considering
it.
they're both on Hopeless Records, I think, as well, would be insane. Like, yeah, that would be so cool because they're also a band that mix around with genres. So like putting, like, I don't know, wouldn't consider them similar to each other with their sound, but they both experiment. So that would be really cool.
Cross-genre.
So I'm
Yeah,
trying to speak that into existence, but we'll see.
manifest that.
Yeah, manifesting. But yeah, totally. And I would really like to see, especially now they've got a new lineup, I would really like to see Make Out.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they've ever performed over in the UK before anyway. But I even tweeted out the other day to them that I would love to see them in the UK, and they liked it, and I'm like, please let that happen, because with the launch of Home, like you said, that was kind of like an old style pop punk vibe.
Right.
I really digged it, like, and I can't wait to see what whether it's an EP or an album, what they come up with soon, because they seem really, really, really cool. And I'm loving the vocals from the lead singer.
Yeah.
Which is bold because I really loved Sam from
Right.
before he parted ways with them. So yeah, like, it seems like a really good fit. So seeing them live would be awesome, and seeing how from like some of the footage I've seen online in that, seeing how they now are as a new group would be pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's like hard to like I think sometimes accept a band when their lineup changes. So I think that the fact that they're so cool and they sound so good, that's super exciting for me.
Yeah, and the interview they did with us was awesome as well. So like, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to link the Make Out interview in the description box. But if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, just search Make Out on thehoneypot.com and the interview will come up, and it's well worth checking out. But yeah, are there any other bands that like you're really like open to going to see?
I mean, for me, before this all happened, live shows were kind of like my entire life.
I relate.
So I could list on and on like the bands that I want to see or have plans to see. And I think the exciting part and kind of frustrating at the same time part is the fact that they are, a lot of great bands and artists are just putting out so much content that like I want to see it all live. Like Neck Deep, I know for sure that album, their new album, people go both ways on their opinion of it. I, of course, thought it was incredible. And their live show rocks. I would love to see some of those songs live. And then again, just trickling back to Youngblood, I'm really getting into him at this point, and I've heard great things from you and from like a lot of people about his live show, and I would kill to see that.
Yeah, his album is incredible. Albums are incredible, but seeing him live is another level of intensity, and how much interaction he has with the crowd is just an experience like seeing no other live performer. And don't get me wrong, that it, like, I've been to many an incredible show, but yeah, you're just literally like in awe, like looking up in awe, like, wow, this is insane. And the fact that he comes out into the crowd, you know, and he gets in the pit with them sometimes and things like that. Yeah, it's just
super interactive. Oh. And I mean, I guess kind of like stemming off of that and that interaction in the crowd, we could talk about the situation of how it's going to be when we actually come back.
Yeah, because like it's a for as someone like you who like my like social part of my life is going to shows,
Right.
otherwise I'm a hermit, so like so yeah, do you think that like in the immediate future concerts are gonna be the same like when they come back? Because I'm really hesitant to think about what what they're going to be like when they finally come back. I can't see general admission.
Right.
I see seats.
I can't imagine. I agree. I can't imagine it going back to the way it was, which is super upsetting,
Mm,
especially within the genres that I listen to. The fact that, like,
because the
yeah,
crowd and being a part of the crowd and crowd surfing and
right.
bouncing around and moshing, it's all part of it, isn't
That's
it?
exactly. I mean, that's what it is. And I think that kind of goes across pretty much all genres.
Mm,
Um, like being in the crowd and being with people that you don't even know, but you end up being friends with. It's like just this beautiful experience. And I don't think it's going to go back to that, which is really sad. I mean, it's understandable with everything
mm.
going on, of course, but I think that it's going to be just a whole different situation. Like you said, I think general admission is out the window.
Yeah, like, and even with like general mission being out the window, like when they do come back, it's just the thought of, yeah, you can stand up from your seats and you can vibe and stuff, but what if you're not allowed to have someone stood next to you, and like you're not going to see a concert where every other chair is full. It's just going to be bizarre. But
Right.
my solution, like that I've seen other people doing to an extent, as long as people obeyed the rules and it was moderated, is drive-through concerts could work.
Oh yeah.
I know that there have been some poor examples of artists that I'm not going to name that have had them, and then people have got out their cars, they've danced, they've not had masks on, they've not socially distanced.
Right.
But if it was moderated and controlled to an extent, and like even like if there was like every other parking bay there's a gap and you're within your immediate group of friends,
Right.
and you're masked and you're taking care of yourself, that could be a vibe and that could work.
Yeah.
um
I
because
know that, well, I live, of course, on the East Coast. So I know that Philadelphia is kind of doing those things, like you said, those drive concerts. They have like a summer series of it, but they haven't had it yet. So I am intrigued to see how it pans out.
like I do feel like, yeah, it won't be the same, but it could be a tolerable kind of normal.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I mean, before everything happened, you were still seeing like groups of people going to shows wearing masks and things
Right.
like that. So like, and it's not so alien now not to expect that you're going to be in a crowd full of people wearing masks anyway,
Mhm.
if when it does come to that. But I do think it's a kind of a frustrating double-edged sword, but people's memories are short, and I don't think that it will be a permanent thing. I do feel like as the world hopefully restores some normality soon,
Right.
um, people will start. There'll be a limit to it, and there will be people that don't forget. But I do think for the most part, people will slowly start returning back to
Right.
concerts being the way they were. It's just the fact of whether the fans are going to be patient enough to wait for that, for me.
Exactly. I know that I've seen some pictures, of course, at a fest or for a festival or some sort, I think in the UK, where they did those kind of like group seatings. Um, and it's like they have like a little box with like barriers, and you like kind of sit and watch the show like that, which I think is, I mean, it's kind of cool. Again, it's not the same situation, but it still gives you that kind of feel of being with your friends and enjoying the show like that. So that's a cool alternative too, I think.
Yeah,
The best we can get.
it's best to go is, I mean, like people are going to have to manage their expectations and the fact that, yeah, we make friends at concerts
Right.
and shows, but would you rather not have a show at all than miss that part of the experience out? Because I know that I would love to be able to not just support the band but the people that work with them. Like this is
Absolutely.
like that's what we're all thinking. It's like while we're all thinking, oh, we miss these shows and we miss seeing our favorite bands, it's the people that are out of work at the moment that's income relies on being on the road. Like I know that there's so many other people affected as well, but like having your main source of income like that when you work in such a specialist job sometimes, from lighting to rigging to all of that, must be awful. And especially as a lot of them sometimes are private contractors, so they're self-employed, so it's like even harder for them to like sustain anything. So like just being able to go and show some support in that way, that is more than just buying an album or a piece of merch, and knowing you're helping a bigger group as well. It's just it's kind of sucky, like that we're kind of coming to an end and thinking about the sad stuff with that, but then also we've got to take away the fact that things are the way they are to keep everyone safe at the moment, and in the long run, like we said, hopefully it will come back to normal. It's just I reckon it's going to be a couple of years before that happens.
I think, like you said, that, I mean, that is such an important thing that we forget about in our like you said, our sadness and frustration with it, is all those people out of jobs and everything. And I think that a lot of artists, I think it's awesome that a lot of artists are kind of chiming into that now, it seems. I know we also did an interview with the Alvarez Kings, and they have been following this trend in the UK that is called like hashtag let the music play, and it's kind of a support system for all those people within the community that have been out of jobs. And then another cool thing that I know a band is doing, Hawthorne Heights, I just wrote about them actually, and they're doing a stay-at-home virtual tour, and they're selling tickets for that for like specific cities in the US, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they're each venue is like a specific venue, so the money from those tickets are going back to those venues and kind of trying to help them raise money for, you know, the local scene and everything.
That's so cool. I love that. And I do feel like the longer this continues, like it's nice seeing these bands and that using their platform and influence to help these people out as well.
Right.
Yeah, like totally. Like I think there was I can't remember the name of it. Damn, I can't remember the name, but a lot of bands like came together and did the face mask things, and profits were going to people who were in the industry as well. Like I got a 5 Seconds of Summer one, but you could get a Youngblood one. There was so many other band names as well, and I thought that was quite a cool thing, because we're getting something we need right now, but we're also like helping people that are out of work too. So yeah, that's really cool, and I'd like to think that more things will happen. Like I know that Aces are doing a live stream concert next month online, and that'll be really cool, because a lot of people were already fans, but a massive amount of the 5 Seconds of Summer base became Aces fans because they supported them on their Meet You There tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so getting to like see them in their own headlining show, albeit live stream, will be really awesome. So yeah, I'm considering getting tickets for that. I think All Time Low have been doing acoustic sets a lot from home as well, haven't they, for fans? So
a lot of bands I think have taken to Zoom, and I think we maybe touched on this a little bit last week, and kind of used that to interact with fans, and we're getting a lot more content that way, and it's really cool. So I mean, if we're looking at the positives, I'll take that one as a positive.
Yeah, that's quite cool. And the fact that generally you can immortalize and go back and rewatch them and relive every moment from the view you had, whereas like, don't get me wrong, nothing beats being at a crowd in a concert and having those actual memories. But and then like if you're lucky enough, you get a live recording and you can relive it that way. But yeah, we're getting to not just see the music, we're getting to see more of the artists' personalities from being at home. So I think that's quite a cool thing to take away from it, and the fact that a lot of them are so much more active on social media, because they're not constantly at interviews, because they're not out on the streets getting photos taken of them. And, yeah, so like having that is it's kind of the content that's feeding us and keeping us going, I think, so long. While we're waiting, I guess we'll have to say it was not as bad as like it could be. We could be getting nothing, so should be thankful for what we have.
Can't complain too much.
but yeah, so do you have anything else you wanted to add on to like today? I feel like we kind of covered a lot of bases. But
I sure do too. I think that all I'll leave with is that I can't wait for live music to return, and I will do everything I can also to help support these bands and
mm,
venues because the local scene is my life. So
yeah, and I second that. I mean, the local, we don't really have a local scene where I specifically am, but the fact that yeah, I would hate to see some iconic venues that
right.
are sitting empty at the moment that I go to numerous times a year, like Brixton Academy, and that I have to travel because I live in the countryside. But most of my shows I go to are in London, and like a lot of those smaller venues, they still need people running them even though they're closed and stuff. So it's just kind of scary thinking what's going to happen there.
For
So I
sure.
would really like yeah, so I'm going to be doing what I can and doing my bit as much as I can. And on that note, I was going to say that's it kind of from us today. But what bands, if you're watching us on YouTube, are you missing that you cut, or if you discovered any new bands that like you want to go see when shows are back on? And if you're listening to us, you can always tweet us at the Honey Pop. And that's it from me today, and from Danny
Yeah.
as well. We're going to say bye.
Take care.